In the depths of the universe, a singular event was about to shift the balance of power among stellar civilizations. Rumors spread of an unprecedented assembly at the Orion Celestial Station, a location where the galaxy's great powers rarely met. What could motivate such a convergence of interests? Could this meeting signal an impending threat looming over the galaxy? Or perhaps a new force was emerging, one capable of redefining ancient alliances? The truth was that humanity, once seen with disdain, was about to assume a central role in the galaxy's fate. The corridors of the Orion Celestial Station pulsed with a nearly tangible tension. Representatives of the most diverse species gathered around an oval table, exchanging cautious glances. At the center, standing alone, was the Earth's emissary. His penetrating gaze scanned each alien face, while a heavy silence dominated the environment. Some looked away, others maintained a defiant posture. For many present, sharing the same space as a human was already a discomfort. Finally, a being with luminous skin and elegant tentacles broke the silence. Emissary, this is a historic day. It is an honor to consider the inclusion of the Terran Federation into our alliance of civilizations. The human remained silent, observing a document before him. Unease grew among those present. The leader of the meeting raised a silver scroll with solemnity. After months of intense negotiations, we have reached a final agreement. All that remains is the ratification of this treaty by everyone here. One by one, the representatives added their seals to the scroll, some with indifference, others with evident disapproval. When the document reached the hands of a reptilian creature with iridescent scales, the tension exploded. With a sudden gesture, it threw the scroll to the ground. "How can we allow these primitives to join us?" Its sharp voice echoed through the hall. "Calm down, Zarax," tried the leader. "The decision has been made." "You decided," Zarax countered, looking accusingly at the others. "You didn't suffer at their hands as we did. Our hive worlds were devastated by their relentless machines." The Earth's emissary raised his gaze, his voice firm but serene. "You attacked our planet first." "We lost millions of lives," Zarax roared. "You wiped out entire generations. No civilization had ever committed such atrocities upon entering interstellar space." The atmosphere grew heavier. The emissary took a step forward, his presence dominating the space. "We were divided, in constant conflict, until your aggression united us." His voice held a chilling calm that silenced any reply. "Now, you face a united Earth, with no restraints holding us back from retaliation." He picked up the scroll from the ground and placed it firmly on the table. "I suggest you sign the treaty. The alternative is discovering what we are truly capable of." Trembling, Zarax finally added his seal to the document. The emissary nodded, stored the scroll, and, without further words, left the room. The other representatives released a collective sigh, aware that they had just witnessed the dawn of a new era. After the Earth's emissary departed, silence reverberated through Orion Station's corridors, but behind the scenes, discussions boiled. The galaxy's oldest civilizations had seen empires rise and fall, but humanity's rapid evolution posed an incalculable threat. Rumors circulated about the true power that the Terran Federation was building, something beyond conventional weapons, something they themselves called the Dyson Swarm. This swarm, a set of satellites orbiting the main star of the Earth's solar system, captured energy directly from the source to meet the Earth's and its colonies' growing needs. It was said that this project was, in part, the key to humanity's prosperity and independence, providing almost unlimited energy and enabling their military and production technology to expand. But more than that, the Dyson Swarm represented a technological milestone and a sign of intergalactic ambition. The swarm was being replicated in outer colonies, expanding Earth's influence in previously uninhabited regions. This was the humans' plan, to expand their presence even if it meant creating their own energy sources outside their home system. The swarm, though innovative, hid secrets about its real utility that even some of the human diplomats did not fully understand. Only the High Command held the full knowledge of its functions, and there were hints that it concealed something else. Meanwhile, at Orion Station, the Earth's emissary met with his advisors in a restricted room. Among them was the lead scientist of the Space Agricultural Expansion Project, Dr. Isla Cheng, responsible for developing farming techniques in low-gravity environments. Ayla had dedicated her life to creating synthetic foods to sustain the Earth's and its colonies' growing population, a task that required as much innovation as adaptation to extreme conditions. "We are making advances in space agriculture, emissary," she reported. "The farming chambers on Mars are operating at a yield 70% higher than expected. Synthetic foods are being distributed to isolated colonies, but the challenge remains to achieve complete self-sufficiency on the interstellar stations." The emissary nodded, though his gaze remained distant. He knew that the success of space agriculture was crucial for the colony's survival, especially with the growing tension among the Alliance's civilizations. But something disturbed him, an anomaly in the Dyson Swarm's data that only the most experienced scientists had noticed and that Dr. Cheng had recently uncovered. For now, however, he decided to keep this information secret. "We must stay focused and strengthen our presence," the emissary replied. "The prosperity of our colonies is our priority, but we must ensure that no one suspects our complete plans. The Alliance watches our every move, and any sign of weakness will be used against us." Yet, the silence following the emissary's words held an invisible weight. The mystery about the Dyson Swarm's true purpose grew, along with a silent unease among his aides. As the Terran Federation consolidated its bases in space, the Alliance's civilizations observed, worried, the humans' advances. There was a growing suspicion that the Dyson Swarm had a hidden purpose, something beyond capturing stellar energy. Informants suspected it was, in fact, a defense mechanism that could be activated in case of attack. But reality was even more complex. The swarm held a backup energy functionality that stored vast amounts of data and sensory information. This information, classified for all but the highest level officials, included intelligence records on other civilizations and experiments in biological adaptation for humans on distant planets, a topic few dared discuss. Additionally, the synthetic food and space agriculture projects were advancing rapidly, with Dr. Cheng leading operations to create farming environments not only in lunar and Martian colonies, but also on orbital space stations. The use of synthetic proteins and enhanced nutrients made food production more efficient and accessible, which allowed entire populations to be sustained with minimal resources. This food independence was a strategic shield for the Federation, making it increasingly less reliant on alien resources and strengthening its position in front of the Alliance. Within the Alliance's internal discussions, the concept of the swarm began to divide opinions. Older leaders saw human advancement as a threat to the galaxy's stability. Representatives like Zarax, still emotionally scarred from past conflicts with humans, did not hide their concerns. They are not only expanding their domains, they are building an infrastructure that will allow them to defend and attack. They are just a young species but with dangerous ambition, Zarax warned a small group of representatives. However, other leaders saw in the humans a chance for technological and economic revitalization. The president of the Intergalactic Council, perceiving humanity's potential for cooperation, suggested forming a special committee to closely monitor the development of the swarm and synthetic food programs, seeking guarantees that these advances would not be used as weapons. There was hope that the Alliance could profit from sharing these advancements, if humans were willing to collaborate. But the emissary remained cautious. Although open to cooperation, he avoided detailing the full capabilities of the Dyson Swarm and agricultural experiments. There was more in the data that he had not even shared with his superiors, a coded message accessible only to the most trusted engineers. And as secret meetings continued and human diplomacy approached a turning point, the truth about the Dyson Swarm and its ultimate purpose remained under tight lock and key. The Federation was ready for whatever came, but the enigma of the swarm seemed to grow, as if a much larger revelation was about to emerge, something only the emissary knew and kept hidden from the galaxy's eyes. Tensions in the alliance of civilizations had reached their peak. Humanity's achievements in space agriculture, the mystery surrounding the Dyson Swarm, and the imposing posture of the Earth's emissary during the last meeting fueled resentment and distrust among the more traditional members. Zarax and other representatives, once reluctant to take aggressive action, now secretly gathered to orchestrate a drastic action, a massive attack on Earth. The attack plan took shape, a coordinated offensive from multiple fleets that would devastate not only Earth, but also key colonies and the orbital stations powering the Dyson Swarm. The goal was simple and brutal: to halt human expansion before they became an unstoppable threat. The attack was imminent. Alien war fleets, heavily armed and composed of some of the galaxy's oldest and most powerful civilizations, prepared to move against the solar system. However, as they were about to launch the offensive, a transmission from the Earth's emissary interrupted all Alliance communication channels. His face appeared calm, though his eyes reflected a chilling confidence. "Alliance representatives," he began, his voice resonating through every ship's command deck. "I know you are planning an attack on Earth, but before you make any moves, there is something you need to know about the Dyson Swarm." The silence that followed was absolute. The emissary explained that, at the slightest sign of aggression, Earth would retaliate with devastating force. The Alliance in its entirety could be wiped from space, and its nearest planets would suffer direct impacts. With the treaty ratified, the Terran Federation took its next step. In the following years, humans integrated into all spheres of the Alliance, expanding their colonies and spreading their innovations across the cosmos. The Dyson Swarm, always silently hovering, became both a symbol of power and a reminder of what would happen to anyone who challenged Earth. Humanity was destined to conquer the galaxy, not through brute force, but through the overwhelming impact of its determination and vision. And under the stars, where they were once viewed as a primitive species, humans now walked not merely as another civilization, but as the new dominant force of the known galaxy.